right, y'all, we are live. We are live for another Raggedy Business Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. Going to go ahead and share this out, so give me a moment while I do that. But I hope you are having a wonderful night, a wonderful evening. Go ahead and figure out how to share this good live. It's going to be good tonight, y'all. I promise you. It's going to be real good. Let's see. All right. Perfect. Hope everyone is doing well. Let's see. Hey, Janae. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. We're going to share this out. Perfect. Gonna give people a few minutes to come into the room and to join. Hope you're having a fabulous day. It is another Tuesday, y'all, and we are here for another Raggedy Business Report. I'm so excited. This one's gonna be good. Like, I got a whole bunch of notes. Y'all know I don't normally do notes like that, but I got a whole bunch of notes. Like, I had to write a whole, like, 2 pages, because I got to give y'all the real of the real and give you the whole complete picture. So I'm super excited. I'm going to allow some more people to come on in. Let me know where you are tuning in from. If you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and type replay in the comments for me. Let me know where you are tuning in from. It's always wonderful to see where people are watching from and joining from. So I'm just really excited when I can see people from all over the country. Let's see, Janae, I'm here for the night. Girl, this is going to be one. It's going to be a whole lot of fun because it is, real raggedy. Hey, Samantha, thank you for joining. Let's see. Thank you so much for tuning in. Want to give people a few more moments to come in. I had to bring my water, because this gonna be one. If you all are connected with me on Facebook on my personal page, some of this is gonna sound familiar from yesterday. So, but I'm going to run it back for everybody that's not, so that you have full context, because I don't want you to miss out on anything. Hey, Kendra, thank you for tuning in from North Carolina in the house. Yes. Love it. So, this is going to be a good one. And even if you are connected with me on my personal Facebook page, there's a lot that I didn't share in the live that I did yesterday that's going to be new. And so I'm excited to share that with you. Excited about raggediness. That sounds like an oxymoron. But anyway, we're going to get into it. Hey, Samantha, thank you, honey. I appreciate it. I do what I can, really appreciate everyone tuning in. I want to give some more people a moment to join, but for those who are new and who have never caught the Raggedy Business Report, this is something that we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. However, this is the last Raggedy Business Report of the year because the holidays are coming, right? And so I want to enjoy some time, and we're going to rework some things for this Raggedy Business Report. It's going to be jamming when we come back in the new year. So be sure that you still hold this 6 o'clock time slot on your calendars, because when the new year come around, we're going to be back, and it's going to be extra special. So yes, Kendra, this is going to be fire. So for those who have never watched the Raggedy Business Report, really, it's a little bit of tea, but it's a lot of lesson as well. So yes, I talk about a raggedy business practice, a raggedy business experience, and, really share that, because none of us like to be on the receiving end of raggedy business, right? Like, we all know what it's like to receive less than optimal service. We all know what that feels like, because we're all consumers. No matter if we're in business for ourselves or not, we're all consumers. We are all somebody's client or customer. So we all know what that feels like. And so really, I started this because I wanted to talk about raggedy business practices, because unfortunately they are rampant, and it's unacceptable, but they've become the norm. And so I want to talk about those practices, but also give you some concrete strategies that you can implement in your business to keep your business from having raggedy business practices. Because what this report is, it isn't about a business necessarily being raggedy, because just because you have some raggedy business practices doesn't necessarily mean that your business as a whole is raggedy. But if you leave them unchecked, your business will become raggedy, right? And we don't want that. We need to be serving our clients and customers with excellence, because if we are business owners, those of you who are business owners, if you don't have people buying your stuff, you ain't got a business, right? And so this is why I started the Raggedy Business Report. People have really latched onto it. It's a lot of fun every week. I can laugh about some of the experiences because most of the reports are experiences that I have personally had, so I can laugh about them after the fact. But when you're going through them, it's nothing funny about it, right? You don't like to receive some raggedy service. Like, that's not cute, that's not cool, and it ain't gonna make you want to come back and spend your money with that business again, right? And so that is what we talk about on this Raggedy Business Report. So go ahead and tag your friends, your mom and them, your besties them, your business coaches them, because some of them need to be on here too. Tag all your people, let them know that the Raggedy Business Report is going down and that this is the last one for the year. So if they don't catch it now, you can catch the replay. But I mean, what fun is the replay, right? You want to be here in real time so you can ask some questions, make your comments, all of that. So we are going to get into the Raggedy Business Report here in a minute. For those who are new to me or unfamiliar with me, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Candace Washington, also known as the Client Curator, and that is because I work with CEOs to help them improve their client experience so that they can increase their client retention and maximize the revenue that they're earning from all of their clients in order to sustainably scale from 6 to 7 figures. So everything client retention, client maximization, client service, customer service, anything that has to do with you interacting with the people who are purchasing your products and services, that's me. That's my jam. And I help CEOs with strategies that they can implement in their business so that they are serving their clients with excellence at all times and not doing raggedy business and increasing the amount of money that they're earning from their existing client base, because that's where your bread and butter is. A lot of people don't realize that 80% of all of your future revenue is going to come from just 20% of your existing clients. So when it comes to doing business and when it comes to your clients, what that says another way is that only 20% of the money that you're going to make in the future is going to come from somewhere else outside of the clients that you already have. That is how important and critical client retention is to your business. And when you're doing raggedy business, that impacts that, right? So I hope y'all ready. We're going to get into this good raggedy business. Let me sip something for a minute. Oh, child. Okay, let's get into it. So, couple of months, I'm going to be hosting an event, and we're looking to have a brunch for about 40 people. And the brunch is going to be off-site. You know, it's going to be a big event, but we're looking to have a brunch at a restaurant, right? We're looking to have a restaurant host the brunch. If we need to buy out the restaurant, we'll do that. Host the brunch, bring the people, have a good time, wase, right? So, about a month ago now, over a month ago actually, I reached out to a restaurant to see if they could accommodate the request. So I called the restaurant and there was no answer. And the recording said that you could leave a voicemail or you could send an email to this email address, and it gave the email address if you wanted a faster reply. So I couldn't leave a voicemail because the voicemail box was full, problem number one. And then I sent an email and never got a reply. Matter of fact, I think I sent 2 emails. Never got a reply, okay? So, problem number 2. So anyway, waited. Matter of fact, that particular week that I initially reached out to this restaurant, I called every day, multiple times, and it was the same thing, not able to leave a message, right? Okay, fine. So I wait a few weeks, and then I reach out to 2 more restaurants. And one of the restaurants I sent an email to via the email address on their website. The other restaurant, I submitted an inquiry form via the space on their website where they say that, or where they have a place for you to submit inquiries for private events and things of that nature. That's very common on restaurant websites. If you're looking to host a private event, they have a place for you to fill out an inquiry form, all of that. Same thing, no response. So at this point, it's been a month, a solid month, right? So, child. So yesterday, I took to Facebook, but I took to Facebook in a private Facebook group that is closed, that you have to be accepted into. And I took to that Facebook group because I still want to reach and contact these restaurants about having the event there because they're Black-owned businesses. Supporting Black-owned businesses is my default. That's what I always fall back on. Not fall back on, that's what I always default to. That's just normal for me. I'm always looking for a Black-owned business first. That's just normal, right? And so I still wanted to get in touch with them about the event, but nobody had responded. So I go to this Facebook group and I make a post. And I took to this particular Facebook group because I knew for a fact, that means factually speaking, that either the owners of these restaurants were a part of this Facebook group, or people that know the owners personally are a part of this Facebook group. So I took to the Facebook group. I'm going to read you what I said. It's pretty interesting. The post was, I've reached out to 3 Black-owned businesses named below about a private event for 40 people and have yet to receive any response. There's been ample time for reply. Although this is a horrible customer experience thus far, does anyone have connects at the following restaurants? And then I named the restaurants. Really wanting to support a Black-owned business, but may be forced to go elsewhere. Man, comments went haywire. Just people came for me like I just cursed somebody mama. It was really bad. So I'm gonna read you some of the comments because I don't want you to just take my word for it, right? I always got receipts. So one of the comments was, many of these businesses are closed or limited service and staff due to COVID. This is not a customer service issue. We are in the middle of a pandemic. Comment number 1. Another comment, I think it's unfair for you to blast these establishments for horrible customer service when, because we're at the height of a global deadly pandemic, some have not reopened. Not to mention, 40 people exceeds recommended guidelines because, again, we're at the height of a health crisis. Okay, comment number 2. And these are just like, I just cherry picked these. There were many more. The last comment that I'm going to read to you, it's pretty long. Honestly, don't think social media is always a platform for people to blast businesses for reasons such as this one. My business was closed for over a month with limited customer communication because I was sick with COVID. My staff had to be laid off until I was better and able to efficiently run my business and bring in revenue. There can be many valid reasons why she got no response, she being me, especially in the era we are in. If she had emailed my company in July, she probably would not have gotten a response until mid-August because of me, the owner, being out with COVID. Why blast a Black business for that? It just seems unnecessary to me. There are other ways to handle situations like this. All right, y'all. So that's pretty much the synopsis of the comments, most of the comments that were received. Now, there were a lot of people who also agreed with me that this is unacceptable to reach out to a business and not have received a reply for a month. But you had people like this. Oh, it's COVID. We're in a pandemic. And what? Now, I recognize we're in a pandemic. Fully do. I sympathize with people that have been impacted by COVID. I empathize with them because guess what? My grandfather passed from COVID. So we don't need to talk about how COVID is impacting people. I know firsthand. My grandfather passed in April because of the disease. So I get that. I understand that. But what I also know and what I also understand is that the world is still doing business, right? People are still spending money. The world is still, the business world and community is still in operation. And so while some of the comments were like, oh, they may not be open or you need whatever, that's true. But this is why communication is so important. And this is why I go back to communication all the time. If you followed me for any length of time, you will know that I'm huge on communication. It's for reasons like this. People were telling me that I need to give some grace and I need to be understanding and be patient. And I'm like, okay, how much grace I'm supposed to give? I waited a month. How much grace am I supposed to give? For one. For two, I don't consider this blasting a business. I took to the group asking for help. If I wanted to blast the business, I would have done it in an open forum, in the public where everybody and their mama could read my comments. I posted in this group asking for help, contacting the owners or someone connected with these businesses because I was unable to do so. So I asked, does anyone have connections at these restaurants? Now I'm blasting the business. Well, how am I supposed to get help with connections at these establishments if I don't name the businesses? That doesn't go together, right? So back and forth, whole bunch of stuff. So finally, the owner of the restaurant that I initially reached out to chimed in. And again, this goes back to why I posted in this particular group, because I knew that either the owners were in there or people connected with the owners were in there. So the owner chimed in. Let me, before I tell you what he said, let me also say at one point, this particular restaurant, I reached out also via their Facebook business page, and someone did reply. However, when this someone replied from their Facebook business page, he no longer works at the restaurant. He's no longer affiliated with the restaurant. So then why does he still have access to the restaurant's Facebook business page if he ain't even no longer working there? That's another problem. So you see, it's a whole lot of raggedy, shady stuff going on. But anyway, so the owner replied and he says, Candace, I hear where you're coming from, but right now, trying to keep business afloat in the midst of a pandemic is top priority. Our focus is on the stores we've been able to keep open, not the ones that we had to temporarily close. Respectfully, it's easy to say what a business should be doing, but if everyone has been laid off who is going to reply to emails or tend to voicemail, how do we do that? I greatly appreciate your attempt to support, and I hope you understand. In the meantime, please stop by the 2 restaurants we have been able to keep open. Thank you. All right. Wrong answer. Wrong answer, because I didn't know the store was closed because I couldn't get in touch with anyone. And none of their customer-facing communication let me know that the restaurant was closed. Now, someone else commented on the post and said, oh, their Facebook page says that they're closed. Well, honestly, I believe that the owner probably went back after this dialogue and updated their Facebook business page, because when I went a month ago, there was nothing saying that they were closed because of the pandemic. There was nothing on the recording that I got when I called the restaurant saying that they were closed because of the pandemic. There was no email reply that I received or response that I received that said that they were closed because of the pandemic. So how am I supposed to know? This is why you have to communicate. That is all I was asking for in this post, was communication. It's very simple. This is not rocket science, people. It's very, very simple. Communicate so that people know what's going on. And so if the focus is on the stores you've been able to keep open and not that you've had to temporarily close, that tells me that you need business, right? And so why you don't have a process to respond to emails that come into your email box that you're telling people to email in the voicemail recording or the recording that they get when they call your establishment, why you don't have a process for that is beyond me, because obviously you need the money. If you had to lay people off, which is what he said, then I would think that you would need the revenue, right? So why you don't have a process to respond to those inquiries is beyond me. So the whole thing just raggedy. So hey Alana, hey Olivia. So hey Kay, Crystal, how you doing? Hey Jared. So let's get into the lessons. Because like this really had me hot yesterday. It still kind of has me hot because it's super raggedy. And there's a lot of things that I want you all to take from this so that you can be sure that you're not doing these things in your business. Because the way that owner responded, that is going to prevent me from doing business at any of his restaurants in the future, period. Because that's not how you respond to a customer who's trying to do business with you. If you saw that I had an issue contacting your establishment, then your response should have been, can you please give me your contact information so that I can call you and discuss the matter. That's how you handle that, right? You don't just say, oh, please stop by some of the other restaurants that we have open. That's not how you resolve that. Bruh, I reached out to you over a month ago. You need to ask for my contact information so that we can have a conversation. You owe me that, So anyway, some lessons I want you to take away, because I always give you with some practical things that you can implement in your business to make sure that you ain't doing raggedy business. How you handle and respond to customers and potential customers can affect your business long term. So I just told you, like the way he responded, I'm not interested. Like I'm not interested in going back in the future to patronize. And not only that, again, this was a private Facebook group, but it wasn't communication just between he and I. So other people saw this exchange. Other people saw his comments just as well as other people saw mine. So undoubtedly, I don't believe that there aren't other people also who were turned off by the experience that I had and by the response of the owner that likely won't patronize that restaurant in the future as well. It impacts your money. It impacts your revenue. I always say all the time, make sure all the communication you have in writing as a business owner is screenshotable, because people will screenshot you and put you on blast. Now, I don't consider what I did putting a business on blast. I was asking for help. And how can I ask for help contacting businesses if I don't name the business? And again, this was a private Facebook group. It wasn't an open forum. It was supposed to be, I thought, a safe space, but I guess I learned otherwise yesterday, right? So again, if you have a client or a customer or a potential client or customer that has a concern and they reach out to you and you become aware of the concern, you need to ask for their contact information and take it offline and have a conversation to see how you can resolve and rectify the situation. We are prepared to spend thousands of dollars, 40 people. Most restaurants, you're going to have to buy out the restaurant to accommodate a group of that size, especially during COVID. So that's thousands of dollars. And you can't respond to an email saying, I'm trying to do business with you. Can you let me know if you can accommodate it? But then you talk about how you're hurting, how you've had to close down restaurants, how you've had to let people go. Well, this is probably why. Because people have probably been reaching out to you to do business and you're not responding. You have no process and you're not responding. And so they're taking their business elsewhere. How are you going to stay in business? So anyway, that's point number one. Point number two, you have to have systems. I talk about it all the time. Systems are your friend. When you are doing business, when you are growing business, operating business, scaling business, you have to have systems. There was no autoresponder on this particular email address when I sent the email. I got no auto reply saying we'll get back to you within 48 hours, whatever the price. No, nothing. So that's mistake number one. You should always at least have an autoresponder. And then the point that he made about, oh, we've had to lay people off, we don't have anybody to do these things. Well, then for one, I don't buy that. Let me just be flat out honest and all the way transparent. I don't buy that. It's just not something that you're willing to do, right? Because all it takes is for you to set aside one day a week for maybe a couple of hours a day to respond to emails that you've gotten in the past week, to clean out the phone box so that people can leave messages. It doesn't take but about 2 minutes to re-record a voicemail greeting to let people know that you're closed or whatever your current status and situation is. This is not stuff that takes a whole lot of time, and it's not stuff that is super complicated. This is very simple stuff. So you have to have systems in your business, because if you don't, we're seeing what happened as a result of not having systems in place. This is inexcusable. The next thing I want you to do is, we don't get to pick and choose. You need to remember, as a business owner, we don't get to pick and choose how we give feedback. So it was a lot of people telling me, oh, you could have done this differently. You didn't have to post it in this group. You could. Okay, so my question then was, okay, so what should I have done? If you're going to tell me that I could have done something differently, tell me how I should have done it. I asked that question literally 4 to 5 to 6 times, literally different people. Then tell me what should I have done? No one had an answer. No one. So you mad because of how I did it, and you telling me I could have done it differently, but then when I ask you how I could have done it differently, you don't have no suggestions. The only suggestion I got, a woman said, well, you could have said it without saying that it was a horrible experience or a horrible customer experience. Well, okay, maybe I could have, but I didn't, because it was a horrible customer experience, period. You don't never let an inquiry to do business go unanswered for a month. That's horrible. So I'm not going to apologize for saying that. And her issue was with how I said it. We as business owners don't get to pick and choose how people give us the feedback that they give us. So are you going to focus on the way somebody says something, or are you going to look at the substance of what was said and figure out how you need to make some changes in your business to do better? We get caught up on the wrong things. Priorities are all wrong. Okay, you can't determine and tell somebody how they should say what they want to say. You don't have that right for nobody. So are you focused on how something was said more than you're focused on the substance of what was said? And as long as, if you are focused on how something was said more than you're focused on the substance of what was said, as long as you do that, you're going to be losing business. And you're going to always be pissed off. You're going to always be in your feelings, because this woman was seriously in her feelings. Like, I stopped commenting and she was still going on and on and on and on and on. And like, I'm done talking to you, ma'am. She was really in her feelings. And this, really in her feelings. Okay, so maybe you think I could have said it differently, but I didn't. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to take the feedback and improve your business? Or are you just going to stay in your feelings? If you too sensitive for feedback, you don't need to be in business. If you can't take it, no matter how it's said, you don't need to be in business. As long as no one is disrespecting you and calling you out of your name and being ugly and things along those lines, take the feedback and grow. Feedback is a gift. Take it, grow, and do better. But if you're more concerned about how somebody says something, your priorities are wrong. And that lets me know how you're operating your business. That's very telling about how you're operating your business. So, again, we don't get to pick and choose how we get the feedback that we get. What you gonna do about it? Even when you don't like it, you don't like how it was said, what you gonna do about it? That's the question you need to ask yourself. The next thing is, if you are not out of business, you have an obligation to do business at all times. Everybody's talking about the pandemic. Yeah, I know we're still in the pandemic, but guess what? This is month 9 of the pandemic. We're not still in March. We're not still in April. If you haven't been able to get your systems together and to pivot and to do what you need to do to communicate at the very least, you ain't gonna be in it. You're not gonna survive. We 9 months in. Yes, we're in a pandemic, but this ain't new at this point. Like, I'm not trying to hear that. Businesses that have succeeded and that have grown and that will survive have done what they need to do to pivot in their business. If your business is shut, if you're closed, if you're a restaurant and you're closed right now, it doesn't take any, you can't tell me that nobody running a business in this day and age don't have a computer or a phone or something that they can respond to or respond from at their homes. We're talking about communication. This is like this real simple stuff. All of this goes back to me reaching out to do business and not receiving a response. I mean, that's really the crux of what this is about. If your establishment is closed right now, okay, you can still communicate that. It's all about communication. It's real simple stuff. And unless you are out of business, as in closed down completely, ain't opening ever again, you still have an obligation to do business. In sales, what I did by committing or by submitting an inquiry is considered a hot lead. You don't never let a hot lead just go to waste. Because hot leads, people that reach out to you about doing business, they're ready to spend some money. You don't ever let those people fall by the wayside. And if you in here talking about you need money, you've had to lay off people, and I'm reaching out to you to do business and spend thousands of dollars with you, and you don't respond, well, I wonder why you've had to lay off people. Because if you did it to me, you undoubtedly did it to other people as well. How we do anything is how we do everything. So I know I'm not the only one that reached out and didn't get a response. And you wonder why you're not open right now. This may sound harsh, but deal with it. Deal with it. This is the reality of what it is, right? So if you're not out of business, if you've had to shift, if you've had to scale back, if you've had to pivot, if you've had to do whatever you've had to do to survive in this time and come back thriving, whatever you had to do, if you're not out of business, you still have an obligation to do business. Because guess what? This restaurant, their doors may be closed right now, and they may not be taking guests and serving and all of that. They may not be open for business, but I guarantee you they still having to pay that rent every month. I guarantee you that's still due every month. They still having to do that because they're occupying space in a building, right? It's the same thing as, paying for a place to live. Yeah, you may not be working, but you still have financial obligations, right? And so I don't say that to sound insensitive, but unless you are out of business and you have removed everything from the space that you occupy, if you have a physical location, then you still have obligations to do business. So be about your business and do business at all times, not just when you feel like it, right? So that's point number 4. The last point is be mindful that your competitors are always waiting in the wings to take the business from you. Because of this post in this Facebook group yesterday, I got recommendations for other restaurants to reach out to. I reached out to 3 restaurants yesterday, got a response from those 3 restaurants yesterday, and one restaurant owner reached out to me, and we had a conversation via phone yesterday. So compare that to the experience that I had reaching out to these other 3 restaurants a month ago, not receiving a response, and in a matter of about maybe 4 hours, I reached out to other restaurants, they responded, and another restaurant owner reached out to me and we had a conversation. 4 total other restaurants. All because the ones that I initially reached out to, they didn't communicate. So guess who's going to get that business now? One of these other 4 restaurants. Simple stuff. Your competitors are always waiting to take business from you. Please believe that. Understand that. This is why you have to be on your game and be about your business and do business at all times. Because someone always waiting in the wings to take the money from you. I mean, that's just capitalism. Somebody always waiting. So if you are not doing business, if you are not about your business, if you're not providing an exceptional experience to clients and customers and future clients and customers, you losing money. You're losing money because now one of these other 4 restaurants is going to get this business. So this is the Raggedy Business Report for today. Let's see. What are the 4? Let me recap the 4 points for you. How you handle and respond to customers and potential customers can affect your business long term, so it affects your revenue. You must have systems in place to assist you in serving your clients and customers and operating your business. We don't get to pick and choose how we give feedback. So you have a decision to make. Are you going to focus on how the feedback was given and whether you like the way it was given or not? Or are you going to focus on the substance of the feedback that was provided? If you're not out of business, you have an obligation to do business at all times in whatever manner that means. A lot of times for these restaurants, doing business is communicating. Very simple stuff. And then your competitors are always waiting in the wings to take business from you. So hope that was helpful for y'all. It's a lot of raggedy, right? So let me see. Let me go back to these comments. Let's see. Samantha patronized a business where the owner was grieving a lost family member and she has an auto reply and plan for how orders will be handled until she returns. Exactly. If you're in business, you need a contingency plan for everything. Like life happens. I get that. We're all human. We all have personal lives, business lives. Like we all got a lot of stuff going on. This is why you need a contingency plan. A lot of businesses didn't have a contingency plan for this pandemic, which, okay, some of that may be reasonable. I mean, because it has been 100 years. A lot of us wasn't alive during the last pandemic. So, okay, but you still need to have contingency plans, right? So if you don't have contingency plans in your business, I highly recommend you start to develop some, because when life happens, your clients and customers still need to be served. They still expect to be served. And another thing about communication, a lot of times what I tell people is most people are reasonable people. Most people will understand, right? But when you do not communicate with people and let them know what's going on, you rob them of the ability to be reasonable. You rob them of the ability to be understanding because they don't know what's going on. When you communicate things and you share and you let people know what's going on, and that doesn't mean telling them all your business or, whatever, but when you let them know that something is up and something is going on, most people are reasonable people. And they'll be understanding and they'll give you grace and, all the things. But when you don't communicate, that's when the issue comes in, because people don't know what to think. They don't know what's going on. They just think, oh, okay, so that's how you gonna do me? So we have to communicate with people. Let me see. All right, let's see. All right, let's see what Facebook talking about. What y'all talking about over here, Facebook? Yes, the truth shall set you free. Your character essentially funds your business. Absolutely, Alana. This is why he isn't doing so well. Absolutely, Alana. Take the feedback and grow. Yes, it's been, yes. Take the feedback and grow. What you gonna do about it? You know. So I hope this was helpful to y'all. We have to do better. And let me just take a minute and speak to the Black business owners for a second. We as Black business owners, we don't have the luxury to do stuff like this. We don't. We already have the deck stacked against us, right? So we don't have the luxury of being raggedy. We really don't, especially not on this level. We have to be that much better than the people that we're competing against. We don't have the luxury, because I guarantee you, if I would have called a restaurant owned by a white person or emailed a restaurant owned by a white person, they would have got back to me asaptually, right? But then it would have been, oh, well, why are you not supporting the community? Why, no, we can't have it both ways. When we don't do what we're supposed to do as business owners, and we don't conduct our business the way we need to conduct our business as business owners, we can't be mad at people for taking their money outside of community, because that's on us. We have to be accountable. The other thing that really bothered me about all of this was it was nothing but finger pointing. Oh, it's COVID. Oh, it's this. No accountability. And you can shy away from taking accountability in your business if you want to, and your business will be shutting its doors very soon, very quickly. You have to take accountability in your business. Sometimes you have to take accountability even when something is not your fault. I mean, it's not pretty. It's not what we want to do, but sometimes it's necessary, right? We got to stop pointing a finger. We have to do better. We have to be better. Because when we don't do better and we're not better, we can't get mad at people who don't want to support Black businesses. Now, I'm not like that. I know that every Black business is not like that. I still am going to always go to a Black-owned business first. But some people have this attitude, this is why I don't support Black, whatever. Yes, there are people like that. And when we do things like the situation I discussed in this report, it just feeds into that. We can't do that. We don't have that luxury. We don't. So we can't get mad at people for taking their business outside of the community when we're doing raggedy business. It don't work both ways. We can't have it both ways. Let me see. Get out your feelings. There's no yes, Janae. Janae said, get out your feelings. There's no money there. Yes. None at all. Okay. Some people need to pick up their feelings and do something, throw them away or something. I don't know, but feelings don't belong in business. You need to go to the facts and the data. That's what belongs in your business. So hey, Kayla, that asexually, yes, asexually, honey. Yes. So I hope this was helpful to you all. Again, my name is Candace Washington. If you're coming in on the end, go ahead and catch the replay. Type replay in the comments for me. Let me know where you're tuning in from. My name, again, is Candace Washington, also known as the Client Curator, and that is because I help CEOs to improve their client experience and therefore increase their client retention and maximize the revenue that they're earning from all of their clients so that they can sustainably scale their companies from 6 to 7 figures. So everything client, customer, retention, experience, all of that is my jam. If you would like to learn more about how my company can help yours, feel free to shoot me a DM and we can have a conversation about that. This is the last Raggedy Business Report of 2020. It has been a great run. This was the 9th week. I can't believe how you guys have latched on to this report. I'm so grateful. We are going to have some great things for the Raggedy Business Report coming in 2021. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Have a blessed Christmas. If you are traveling, be safe. Enjoy the company of those that you are with. Enjoy some good old holiday food. Oh, I can't wait, child. Y'all know, I'm a foodie, so I love to eat. So enjoy time with friends and family. Be safe. We are still in a pandemic. So don't shut your life down, but be wise in the decisions and the choices that you make. Have a great remainder of your year. Have a great evening, the rest of the evening tonight. And as I always say, be blessed and remember to treat people well. Good night, y'all.